Well, Ulysses, it is that time. Player review time.
Oh, okay. Let's do it. Isaac Paredes today, starting right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Pause. Ulises Sambrano.
There we go. We are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on social media and email us anytime. LockedOnRays@gmail.com. Well, this individual had a really, really impressive 2023 season, and we're going to talk about it. Isaac Paredes. And as we do with these player reviews, we discuss what went right, what went wrong, the player's future with the team, and then we give them an ultimate grade. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Isaac Paredes, I guess you can call him a third baseman, but he also plays second. He also plays first. He'll also DH for you. He'll do a little bit of anything and everything in that regard. What went right for Mr. Paredes in 2023?
A lot of things went right. So let's start with the stats. The slash line in 143 games, 571 plate appearances. So honestly, just a full season of baseball. He hit 250 with a 352 on base, 488 slug. That's an 840 OPS. He had 31 home runs, 98 RBI, one stolen base. Hello, that's a little fun fact. 10.2 walk rate, 18.2 strikeout rate, a 4.3 fWAR season. Look, this guy was just everything you could have ever wanted from a guy that's going to be 24, 25 years
25.
old. And he just explodes on the scene like this after a pretty big trade. When you trade a guy that's an all-star in Austin Meadows and you get back a not too well-known farmhand from the Detroit Tigers, and then he explodes like this a year later. Like, this is as good as you can have of a season. When you look at the power, it's unreal. The 31 home runs, 27 of those, which, by the way, came against righties. It's not like lefties. He was smashing the power out of them. In fact, he has way better power numbers against righties than lefties.
Yeah, and when he was acquired by the Rays, this story has been reported previously, but they said, hey, you're not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark straight away center or the other way. Just try to pull everything. And he took that in stride, because whether it's a fastball in or a breaking ball away, he pulls it and pulls it hard. And
yeah,
what you said, I mean, we look at the power numbers. They're impressive. I mean, just on the Rays alone, he was first in homers, first in RBI, second in OPS, second in OPS plus, third in doubles. It's combined with that enviable strikeout and walk rates, and not much swing and miss either. So he, at just 24 years old, seems to have a really mature approach at the plate. He knows which pitches to attack, which ones to lay off of, when to pick his spots, and when to drive the ball. And we saw how that worked out. And
you talk about the strikeout rate. He had the 5th lowest on the team with guys that had appropriate amount of plate appearances. Now, Kevin, before you look it up, can you name me those 4 guys in front of him that had a better walk rate than he did in 2023?
I would say Yandy Diaz for one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is going to get squirrely here. Better walk rate than...
Sorry, lowest K rate.
Lowest K rate. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're right. Yandy's still lowest K rate in front of Isaac. Very good.
Okay, lower strikeout rate than Isaac Paredes. So Yandy Diaz is 1. Wander Franco has to be another.
Correct. Two more guys. One of them is no longer with the team.
Luke Rayleigh.
Manuel Margot.
Manny Margot, that's correct.
And
Luke Rayleigh has a high strikeout rate.
And one is probably going to be traded.
Randy?
Harold
Ramirez. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was way off on that. That was terrible.
You're good. So, like, when you look at those numbers, I mean, those are guys that really know the strike zone. All of those guys, Wander, Yandy, Manny, and Harold. Isak's capability of knowing the strikeout, the strike zone, and the pitches to lay off of, I think that's a very underrated trait of his that goes by the wayside. 18.2 strikeout rate with 31 home runs is an amazing combination to have. And it's not like, he's just swinging and missing, like you're saying. When I looked at the O contact percentage, which I love when we do these player reviews and you get to like dive deep on these numbers. O contact, for those that don't know, is the percentage of times that a hitter makes contact with a pitch outside of the zone. O contact percentage. His is as a 72%. That's almost 10 points better than the average major leaguer. So what does that say? That says that he is way better than an average MLB hitter at making contact when the pitch is outside the zone. Why would that be helpful? Just because of what you said earlier. If he's able to get contact with a pitch that might have been outside, might have been a little bit high, maybe inside, and then he pulls the heck out of the ball, there's a big chance that he can do some damage with that.
Right. Oh, 100%. And if you look at some videos of him since coming over to the Rays, he's made some slight changes. Like, he is right on top of the plate. He is more upright in his stance. Like, he is really leaning into the ethos that the Rays have given him. And I think I really don't know if they're, because he has such a mature approach now. I know there's been some complaints and scuttlebutt about, hey, is this really real? Can he keep this up? I don't really know if there is a team or a pitching staff that can prevent him from continuing what he's doing, because like I mentioned, like, he will pull any type of ball no matter where it is, whatever he's swinging at. So
and with that, Kevin, he's doing it often, because guess what? This guy doesn't get hurt. 143 games.
Yeah.
In today's age, that's an amazing feat. And you mentioned it. It's not only third base. He can play first base. He can play second base. He can DH. In fact, he even had a spot start at shortstop this year. He can do it all, and he can do healthy. And when you can do that, you can start to put up numbers like he did.
Right. Yeah. And I think, continuing on the positive angle for Isak, it's not like he was just a statue at first base or DH. Like you saw time and time again, he's snagging a ball backhand down the third base line, getting up and making a strong throw to first. He's making a dive glove side at second base to make a stop. So he is laying out on both sides of the ball, for lack of a better term. And, for people that may be saying, oh, this is just a moment in time, he's not going to be able to keep this up with his pull heavy approach. Well, this is what Nolan Arenado does. This is what Mookie Betts does. This is what other name brand guys do. So you should be really excited about what he can do in the future. I mean, I don't think we mentioned this, his WAR, 4.2 WAR.
Yeah.
He's right up there with Bellinger. He's right up there with Albies. He's right up there with Ketel Marte, Alex Bregman, Fernando Tatis, Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good company to be in.
And again, it's only one season, but what a season it was. And, I also want to highlight this other positive, which he wasn't given the opportunity in the 2022 wildcard game because somehow Cash thought that having Taylor Walls pinch hit for him was a smart idea. It was not. In the 2023 wildcard series, guess what? He went 3 for 8. He didn't shy away. A lot of people did not hit. He went 3-4-8. So that's also a positive. I know people look at the playoffs as like a sample size, the small sample size, which is of course correct. But I think there's something about the playoffs. You either step up or you don't. And guys that do will get remembered, and guys that don't will get remembered negatively. If not, ask Brendan Lau how the fandom feels about in his postseason numbers. Fair or not fair, they remember. And if this is a guy that's not going to shy away from hitting when it matters most, then this is a guy you want to keep.
And really, opposing teams and pitchers should be intimidated of him and not the other way around. Just look at, one crack of the bat. And that's the other thing too, is like, it wasn't a ton of garbage time home runs. It was momentum shifting long balls. You're tying a game, or you're taking the lead, or you're giving that extra bit of cushion in a game. So some clutch moments from Paredes over the course of the season as well. We have more to discuss, Ulises, but first we have to tell the audience about something important.
Yes, just like Isak gets ready every day to hit dingers, guess what? You can also hit dingers in your own personal life by being prepared. And you can be prepared for anything that comes your way with the J's Case. The J's Case is a pack of 5 different antibiotics that treat a long list of bacterial illnesses, including respiratory infections, sinus infections, skin infections, UTIs, everything, among many others. So, you know that this stuff could happen to any of us. Today, you can be prepared by visiting jaysmedical.com and complete your physician encounter. It will be reviewed by a board-certified physician, and your medications will be dispensed by a licensed pharmacy at a fraction of the regular cost. We love that, a fraction of the regular cost. It's never been more important to be prepared than today. So again, go to jaysmedical.com. That's JASE medical.com, and use offer code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, to get $20 off your order. Again, go to jaysmedical.com and use offer code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your order today.
We also want to tell you about eBay Motors. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motor has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money is returned to you. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into an MVP and bring home that W. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. All right, Ulises, anything else on the what went right front for Isak Paredes? There was a lot, as we have illuminated in the last 13 minutes or so.
There was a lot. I think we can move on to the what went wrong.
Yeah. What went wrong? Honestly, I don't have a whole lot here. If it's anything, it's a scouting report deal of he doesn't run very fast. And while he does play multiple positions, the versatility, which is extremely helpful, the metrics, and I guess the eye test says, he's maybe an average-ish fielder with average-ish range in arm strength.
Yep.
Other than that, I don't have a lot else I can say in the negative realm for Isak Paredes. I mean, if we really want to nitpick and say, oh, he should be hitting the ball the other way more, or, hey, he doesn't have raw power oppo. Okay, but I mean, if he was that, then he'd be a 7 WAR player.
Well,
not everybody can be anything in everything, and if you are, you're a bona fide Hall of Famer.
Well,
so
yeah, exactly.
I don't know really where else for the style of player that Isak Paredes is. He did a lot more right than wrong.
Let me just say, if you have an Isaac Paredes 2023 season, and you can just put that in the lineup for the next 5 years, you would take that.
Yeah.
You would be happy to take
He's
that.
the only Evan Longoria and him, I believe, are the only third baseman in franchise history to have at least 30 homers and 90 RBI
I wouldn't be
in a
surprised,
single
Kev.
season.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, who's the competition here? Matt Duffy? Yeah, not
Not great.
not going to break the bank on the home runs and the Duffy front. But you mentioned the defense. Yes, he's very versatile. A knock on him would be the arm on Savant. He's at a 45th percentile, and then the outs above average is at a 56th percentile. So
yeah,
pretty much down an average fielder, which again in Major League Baseball, if you're putting 31 home runs, if you're having a 137 WRC plus, and you're an average defender, a lot of teams will take that, especially if you're not going to be a bad fielder at second, third, first. Hey, they even give him a shot at shortstop, which I loved. I love giving opportunities to players that earn them, and they have the possibility to do so. Now, there are just a couple of things I found out.
okay.
We talked, I think it was with Randy, possibly, or with Yandy, with the infield fly ball rate. The infield fly is the least productive out that you can have in baseball. We talked about strikeouts, but at least strikeouts, if the ball gets away from the catcher, there can be some movement on the bases. The infield fly gives you nothing. It gives you absolutely nothing. When you look at the rate that he's hitting the ball in the infield pop-ups, it's at a 19.7%. That's really high. That's really high. 20% infield fly balls, like, my goodness. And then you look at his line drive percentage. His line drive percentage is at 21.1%. So that is a little bit troubling that the line drive percentage is basically equal to his infield fly ball rate. That's just not something that is optimal. Is that a bug in the system that maybe is going to give him a little bit more trouble next year to produce? Yeah. Could. Maybe it's just a feature in who he is, and this is just how, like Harold Ramirez, right? Like, oh, he's just a BABIP machine. Is going to the world's going to come down on him. Like, but it hasn't. Maybe this is what Isaac Paredes is, and he doesn't have to hit the ball hard. He's in the 6th percentile in hard hit rate, and barrel percentage. He's in the 26th percentile. So you could get worried about those things, but if the production keeps happening, maybe that's just how he produces.
If the numbers are the numbers, I think that's a byproduct of what it is. For sure.
So you look at that. So that's the percentages there for infield fly and line drive being so equal does worry me a little bit. And he is a slow guy on the bases.
Yeah, he's not an athlete, which we've known that'll be a question going forward. I mean, 3, 5, 7 years from now, how his body holds up.
And that's my point.
Deteriorates exponentially in the, athleticism realm of things.
If he's a slow guy and he's a slugger, how much time, Kevin, until he becomes a first base DH only type player? Yeah. Is it 5 years from now? Is it 3 years from now? Like, that's the negative I think that we could talk about. But again,
that's a really good point, because that might be something that the Rays, there's been, and we'll get to this with his future with the team, there's been a lot of talk of he's being shopped around, or teams are shopping for him, namely the Mariners and the Blue Jays of late. But that might have some weight to it in the sense of who's on the come up. Xavier Isaac. He's not playing second base. He's not playing third base. He's first base DH. Yandy Diaz. He's not getting any younger. And he seems to thrive the most offensively at first base. So you're going to, in Isaac Paredes, if he becomes so immobile in the next couple of years that he can only play first base, you're going to keep 3 first basemen on the roster. And that's not very Raysian.
Exactly.
So
And Yandy is locked up. So yeah, I think that would be a thing to worry about in the future, which would be the last segment. But one went wrong. That's about it. Like he really had a great season. So if you want to talk about the next stop, which is his future with the team, it's already started, right? Like, is this a guy you build around, or is this a guy that you keep for his arbitration years? Which, by the way, contract status, he's in his first year of ARB, and they agreed to a 3.4 million deal. 3.4 in his first ARB year, and by the way, he's a Super 2, so he's going to have 4 years of ARB.
Yeah,
he gonna get expensive, and he's gonna get expensive quick, especially if this guy puts up another 30 homer season.
For sure. And we will talk about that a little bit more. But first, we have to tell you this. The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel. They are America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is super easy to use, and there are many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays, bets in their Explore tab, and their Parlay Hub. You can make a parlay there. That's actually the best way to find popular parlays, plus so much more. So go ahead and visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn, LOCKEDON, to make your first bet a layup. I'll repeat it again. FanDuel.com/LockedOn is the place to go. FanDuel, they are an official partner of the NFL. Ulises, you touched on something interesting there. Yes, he will get expensive as a Super 2. I mean, you can basically, if he continues this production or maintains similar production, I would think you could more or less double his salary in 2025. And then what do you do in year 3 of ARB and year 4 of ARB? And we know how the Rays are very cautious of their pennies, dimes, nickels, everything like that. You mentioned being a player to build around. That's the $1 million question, or the $50 million question, however you want to clarify that, because that has to be the conversation in the Rays organization right now. Who would you rather build around? Him or Junior Caminero? Him or Curtis Mead? Him or X, Y, or Z? You know, based on some of, I know they weren't a lot of negatives, but they are notable negatives. That's gotta be a talking point, and you've got to figure that out, I would think, relatively soon.
100%.
I mean, we can basically normally in a normal universe, we would just say you build around Wander Franco and you're done with that. But clearly we can't do that. Or even going further, do you build around Josh Lowe?
Yeah. There's candidates. There's candidates out. Is he one? Sure. But I do think with the future of how he is going to develop, it's not the path of
I see with Paredes, I don't think he's getting any better. I think this is really the best he's going to be. It's just about
like
maintaining that.
How good? Okay, so let's talk about that. How good can Isaac Paredes be? Like, how much better can he get? Can he be a 40 homer guy? And
I really think this is kind of the top of the line, and you hope he's able to sustain it over the next handful of years.
Maybe when you look at expected home run totals, you would be surprised to find out that his expected home run total was 24, not 31. And when you look at the hard hit rate, it says the 6th percentile. And you look at the barrel rate, and it's the 26th percentile. And you look at the exit velo, and it's 13th percentile, which, by the way, average exit velocity percentile is kind of crap. But whatever. You look at all those things, and you say, career year? Because everybody's going to have a career year. Everybody, if you give them enough time, and if they're able to produce, everybody's going to have a career. Casey Kochman had a career year. Okay, Jeff Keppinger had a career year, all with the Rays. So
Jason Bartlett,
he had a career year. So Is this Isaac Paredes' career year? If not, how much better could he get? Let's say he could get better. Like, this is not his career year. Well, is he a 40 homer guy?
No, I don't see that. I think
don't
if he gets
see that.
better, it's like 2-3% better. Like instead
Right.
of 31 home runs, it's 33 home runs, which is
33
still
home
very,
runs.
very impressive. Let's put it all into context. Like
Yes.
if this is top of the line, yeah, I will sign up for a 4.2 WAR player.
Okay. How many 4.2 WAR seasons do you think Isaac Paredes has in his tank? 2? 3 more?
Yeah, maybe 2-3 more.
So if that's the case, instead of like saying 6, 7 seasons of 4-point WAR, then you don't build around him. If it's going to be 2 or 3, you keep him in with the ARB system, which I think is going to be the likely scenario that's going to happen.
And maybe that's where the sell high or sell while you can scenarios coming about, and why we see all these trade rumors with him and Randy Arozarena and others. So it's an interesting question for sure. And sort of tied into that, he could also be a guy that puts up multiple seasons like this and still doesn't get named to an all-star game. I could see that where he has, I mean, let's remember, Aubrey Huff never made an all-star game. BJ Upton never made an all-star game. Kevin Kiermaier never made an all-star game. So he might be that one guy where we look down 10 years from now and we say, man, he had like 3-4 WAR seasons and he put up, 28 WAR for his career, never made an all-star appearance. Crazy.
I've told you this off screen, like, Carlos Pena, and remember how annoyed we all were with the strikeout rate. Oh my God, he strikes out so much. Oh, he strikes out so much. Oh, he strikes out so much. I've looked at his career strikeout rate and it was like 25%. What?
It's enviable now.
Now tell me you don't want a guy who hits 30 bombs at a 25% strikeout rate. You would take that any day of the year. So like
100%.
Baseball changes. So I wouldn't be surprised that in 10 years we look at Isaac's numbers and go like, wow, he really was an amazing player. Why were we nitpicking on him? So look, can he get better? I'm sure he can. How much better can he get? I don't think too much better. Like, because he's really good right now. He's a 4.3 WAR player. And then how many seasons of that does he have? So putting all of that into a melting pot, I don't think he is a guy that will receive a friendly team contract deal. I don't think so. I think you keep him ARB for the next year. Look, if he goes off next year as well, he's gone.
Yeah.
They're going to sell the highest on Isaac Paredes. And you might as well say the same thing with Randy Arozarena, that he's gone after next year too.
Unfortunately. And that's the thing is, I know the careers have not gone as we thought they would, but Austin Meadows, after that, 30 homer, 100 RBI season, it's like, that's the best you're going to get from Austin Meadows. You're just hoping that you can get multiple years of that. And I think it could be a similar case with Isaac Paredes. And you'd mentioned the fly ball or the infield fly ball rate, like whatever he is, whichever type of pitch and location and count that he is doing that in, the scouting reports, the scouting eyes better get on that and say, hey, we got to isolate that and keep hammering that to prevent him from, knocking a 81 mile per hour breaking ball from a lefty, 400 feet down the right field line, or left field line, I should say. So there is that. Grade time for Isaac Paredes 2023. Ulises, what are you giving him on a scale of, I guess, 0 to 100?
95. I'm not gonna even 95. I don't think you can ask much more for a 25-year-old who can put up those 4.3 WAR. I'm going 95.
All right, I'll give him a point better, 96, just because of the "you can't see me" homage to John Cena and adding a little personality and flair. So there it is. Whatever you all think about Isaac Paredes and his player review, hit it up in the comments. Hit it up in the chat. Would like to see, hey, should the Rays give him a contract extension? Should they sell high? What should they do with Isaac Paredes? That is going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later on this week.